It was only 1 second. Not even a full second, really. A blink, a pause, a moment most people would have missed if they weren't already watching closely. But fans were watching. Fans are always watching. The clip didn't arrive with fanfare. No dramatic music. No bold captions. It appeared quietly on social media, posted by someone who probably didn't realize they had just dropped a digital match into a room filled with gasoline. At first glance, it looked ordinary. Dylan Wang and Shen Yue standing side by side at a public event. Neutral expressions. Professional posture. The kind of image everyone had seen 100 times before. But then came the replay. And then another. And another. Because in that single second, something shifted. The event itself was routine. A promotional appearance. Bright lights, soft background music, polite applause. Dylan Wang stood tall, hands relaxed at his sides, expression calm but alert. Shen Yue stood beside him, composed, graceful, her smile gentle but reserved. They weren't touching. They weren't speaking. Yet somehow, the air between them felt charged. The clip showed Shen Yue turning her head slightly toward Dylan. Not fully, just enough. Her eyes flicked to him, quick and instinctive, like she was checking something without thinking. And in that exact second, Dylan Wang reacted. He didn't turn his head. He didn't smile. But his posture changed. His shoulders shifted, just barely. His body angled toward her by a fraction, as if responding to something invisible, as if his awareness of her had always been there, waiting. 1 second. That's all it took. Fans froze the frame, zoomed in, slowed it down to 0.25 speed. And suddenly, everyone saw it. This wasn't scripted, someone commented. That's not acting, another wrote. You don't fake that kind of reaction. The internet did what it does best. It analyzed. Body language experts, self-appointed and professional alike, began weighing in. Subtle mirroring, unconscious orientation, protective reflexes. The human body, they explained, often reacts faster than the mind, especially around people we trust, especially around people we care about. Humor followed quickly, because humor always does. One viral comment read, "I sneezed slower than Dylan reacted to Shen Yue." Another joked, "That 1 second just added 5 years to my life expectancy." But beneath the laughter was something serious. Fans felt like they'd witnessed something real. This wasn't a dramatic confession. It wasn't a scandal. It wasn't even physical contact. It was instinct. And instinct is hard to fake. The clip spread fast. Faster than anyone expected. It crossed platforms, languages, time zones. Fan accounts reposted it with arrows, circles, and captions like, "Look here," and "this part." Some people tried to dismiss it. They said fans were reading too much into nothing. That celebrities are trained to stand a certain way. That body language analysis is subjective, and they weren't entirely wrong. But fans weren't claiming proof. They were claiming feeling. Because anyone who's ever cared about someone knows this truth. Sometimes your body reacts before you even realize what your heart is doing. As the clip continued to circulate, fans started connecting dots. They remembered older moments. Small ones. Moments that hadn't mattered before. Like how Dylan often waited until Shen Yue finished speaking before answering questions, even when others jumped in. Or how Shen Yue's laughter around him always sounded different, less controlled, more free. Individually, these moments meant nothing. Together, they began to form a pattern. And then came the debates. Some fans argued the moment was intimate. Others insisted it was coincidence. A few said the controversy itself was overblown. But no one could stop rewatching. Because even skeptics felt it. That 1 second didn't look rehearsed. It didn't look calculated. It looked human. Educationally, this is where fan culture becomes fascinating. Sociologists often talk about microexpressions and thin slicing, the human ability to draw meaning from very small behavioral cues. Fans, without realizing it, were doing exactly that. They weren't inventing a story out of nothing. They were responding to something subtle but authentic, and that authenticity is addictive. The clip also highlighted something else. How rare it is to see unguarded moments in celebrity culture. Stars are trained to maintain distance, to control their image, to remain neutral. So when a crack appears, when instinct slips through, it feels precious, like catching someone being real. As days passed, the clip didn't fade. It evolved. Fan editors created slow-motion versions set to soft music. Writers turned it into short stories. Artists drew the moment from different angles, exaggerating the space between them, turning that single second into 1,000 imagined emotions. One popular fan caption read, "It wasn't what he did, it was how fast he did it." Another said, "If that's not instinct, I don't know what is." Even people outside the fandom began noticing. Casual viewers stumbled upon the clip and felt confused about why they couldn't look away. "Nothing's happening," they'd say, and yet they'd keep watching. That's the power of subtext. The controversy wasn't about romance. It was about meaning. Did that second mean something? Or did fans give it meaning? And does it matter? Because the emotional response was real regardless. Industry insiders remained silent as expected. No statements. No clarifications. Silence, in this case, only fueled curiosity. Silence always does. Dylan Wang continued posting as usual. Shen Yue did the same. No references. No hints. Just normal life. And fans respected that. Mostly, instead of demanding answers. Many fans leaned into creativity. They used the moment as inspiration rather than accusation. They imagined quiet stories, gentle connections, relationships built on trust rather than spectacle. In a way, the fandom matured. They weren't chasing scandal. They were savoring nuance. Humor kept things grounded. Memes compared the 1-second clip to historical moments. "This second deserves its own documentary." One joked. Another wrote, "I've spent longer deciding what to eat, and this second changed everything." But beneath the jokes was sincerity. People talked about their own experiences, about moments when they realized they cared about someone, not because of confession, but because of a reflex, a glance, a movement they didn't plan. The clip became relatable. That's why it lasted. Not because it proved anything, but because it reminded people of something. That connection isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's unconscious. And sometimes it lasts only 1 second. As weeks passed, the clip became part of fandom history. Not a scandal, not a rumor, but a reference point. The 1-second clip, fans would say, and everyone knew exactly what they meant. It didn't need explanation anymore. It was a shared experience. In the end, that's what changed everything, not the moment itself.